What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Canadian Jail War Stories. We're here doing another interview, but the difference is I'm going to be the one being interviewed here today. Okay? So it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? So what we're going to do is we're just going to wait for Clint. I sent him the link, but maybe it doesn't work on his Instagram, so I'm going to wait for him to just pop into chat then. I started it up figuring, if he can't get in through that link, then oh, there he is. Okay, cool. Okay. I just sent the link to your IG, but it's all good. We'll do it this way. I'm glad I didn't go on the YouTube. Okay. Share. How do I do it? Copy to clipboard. Copy. There we go. All right. Let's get this interview cracking. He's been planning this interview out for what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks or something like that. Oh. Alright. Yeah, man, I'm nervous because I'm going to be talking about some heavy shit, you know what I mean? And hey, Anna. Hey, Mr. Muffin Man. Hey, Tim. Thanks for everybody showing up for the support, Really appreciate that. Muffin Man as well. Bugsy. Appreciate everybody showing up early and everything, showing up on time. I'm just waiting for Clint to jump in. Clint, you jumping in, bro? I just put the link there, man. I put it in there a couple of times. Hey, Brown. What's up, bro? Dude, you just hit that link right there that I just put in the chat, bro. There we go. There we are.
I had to log into my YouTube on it.
Okay.
Hear me all right?
I can hear you all right. You're a little low, but I can hear you fine.
Hear me all right? All right, let me turn the volume down on
this. Yeah. We've been
okay.
for a couple of weeks, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Am I lagging pretty bad, or are we good?
No, we're good.
Okay, awesome. So how you want to do it? You want me to jump in? You want me to go ahead and run it?
Yeah, you can just take it over like it's your interview, bro. That's what I told everybody. I said, I'm not the one interviewing today. It's Clint's interview, Because eventually this is going to go on your channel, right?
Yeah.
So, right.
All right, bet. So my name's Clint. I'm starting a channel called Breaking Chains and Interviewing Pains, where we pretty much dive into the childhood, the youth, the teenage years, and the minds of these guys before they went to prison. And it just kind of gives us a rough idea of maybe why they ended up where they ended up. So if you would, Eddie, for the people that don't know, when and where were you born?
Okay, I was born at Mount Sinai Hospital, downtown Toronto. Okay, I was supposed to be the first kid born that year that didn't have yellow jaundice, is what I was told. Don't know what that is, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I was
you
born
said
by
you had yellow jaundice?
My mom and dad were broken up before I was born, type thing.
And you said you had yellow jaundice?
No, I was the only one that didn't have it.
Oh, wow. It was that rampant, huh?
Yeah.
If you would, man, tell me some of your first memories that you have of your parents.
Okay. First real memories that I have is like playing Nintendo, stuff like that with like my grandmother when I was like 3-4 years old. Going to my dad's like butcher store on the week, like because my parents were split up, so I go see my dad every second weekend, right? And when I go down to his place, he had his own butcher store, like his own business type thing. It was like a convenience store, but he had his own butcher shop in there as well, type deal, right? Because he was a butcher, so he sold cigarettes, all that kind of stuff. So he was teaching me like stock shelves and all that kind of stuff at like 5-6 years old, and that was like my fun, going to visit my dad and stuff like that. And it was good up until everything started happening. You know what I mean? Everything was fine. It was just like a normal thing. But I didn't realize how much we were moving around because I was little. You know what I mean? I was too young to realize what was happening
Yeah.
and stuff like that, right? So once I got a little bit older, and then all this um, big events started happening, it was like, oh man, like that's when I started growing up a lot. You know?
Yeah. So if you had to, how would you have defined their relationship, your parents' relationship, even though they were split up? Did they get
Well,
along or?
no, like no. My father always like hated my mom, and my mom hated him. Like he always told me it was her, and she always told me it was him, and two different stories type deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kind of playing both sides of the tape, then you were kind of trapped between that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember any violence as a kid between them?
No, they weren't together, man. They never really see each other, bro. Like my mom had all kinds of boyfriends that were weirdos and alcoholics and violence, and I had to beat a couple of them up in my childhood, like a young teenager.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay. So so
toss them.
pretty so so pretty much the only time that they seen each other was probably like when you were getting dropped off for your
Right, my
dad's
dad in the
time.
car, like, hey, see ya. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I got you. I went through the same thing, the old drop 'em off game. So that brings me into the next question then, and that is, did your parents have a lot of different partners? And if they did, kind of elaborate on that.
Okay, so yeah, my dad, he had my two sisters and a brother with this another woman that he went on with after my mom, and she was always like a stepmom to me. She was always with him for the longest time, probably for years and years. But my mom always had like she always had a boyfriend, but they always would get replaced, if you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
she would never break up with a guy and just be alone type deal. She would always have to break up with a guy for another guy. You know what I mean? So I can never just be like, oh, finally we're just like alone. We're gonna live in our own place.
yeah.
So it was always like, okay,
So,
breaking up with this dude and we're moving here, and I'd be like, oh, we're
yeah,
moving where? Oh, with this dude, and it's just
yeah,
like, oh, okay, and it was a lot. Like I basically was always the new kid. You know what I mean? I was always the
yeah.
new kid. Uh, I stay in schools when before grade 7, like grade 6 and down. I was always the new kid. Basically like 2, 3 different schools sometimes in one year. Shit like that. Then I got a little older. Well, no, let's back up because then I was getting made fun of on the bus when the first thing kind of happened when my one of my mom's boyfriends we were living with, the door got kicked down and the cops came in and raided the place. And there was a bunch of marijuana plants and a bunch of like shrooms and freezer and brownies, and I guess he had been selling to an undercover and they had been getting a thing on him, and then they ended up having enough evidence. They came and busted him and my mom and took them out of the house. So it was like they took me away and his
Oh,
two
wow.
daughters, and I was only like I think maybe 7 at the time. So at that time I was like, wow. And then even though they let my mom go because he told them that it was him, right? So they let my mom go, and he took the rap for it and shit like that because it's his stuff. But just going through that, and then now because it's in the newspapers, right? So all the kids at school know about it because it's in the
Yeah,
newspaper, right? So it's all like on the school bus, like, oh, Eddie's parents are drug dealers, Eddie's parents are drug dealers, type shit, right? We get made
yeah.
fun of, so now I'm fighting the kids, little kids school.
Yeah. So I want to touch on something real quick before we blow past it because I really think it's important. And at least in my life, it was detrimental to me. So with your mom having them relationships, for me, I always kind of felt like that meant I wasn't enough. You know what I mean? There had to be another man in the house, and it kind of made me
It's
feel like that. So
disgusting.
how did it how did that make you feel?
Sometimes I felt like I always loved her, you know what I mean? I always will. And like I always protected her, I always do anything I could, but sometimes I would literally get disgusted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You think it made you grow resentments?
No, it made me like cherish, like uh want to treat women really well, like cherish a woman. You know what I mean? being
Yeah.
raised by a single mom and seeing these guys treat her like shit and having to beat them up, like treating her bad and shit. Like I remember breaking one guy's leg. Another guy like took a knife from the kitchen, the turkey at Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner one time. I think I was like 13 or 14 and came running at me with the knife trying to stab me, right? Because we were like arguing and stuff like that. And I remember tripping him down onto the ground, and then I got up on the chair and jumped on the chair onto him, and it broke his ribs because I landed on his ribs type deal. And he was gonna
Yeah.
charge me, but my mom was gonna leave him, and then he was like, "Well, I'll charge him if you leave me," blah blah blah. So she literally stayed with this dude so he wouldn't charge me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he was in bed the whole time though. Like he was in bed for the longest time after that, with the broken leg and the ribs and that. And
Yeah.
so as soon as he healed up and everything, then she got out of
So
that.
question. So did any of these guys by chance at any span in your childhood did you have like a positive male role model,
Yeah,
or was
okay.
it
The
pretty
one that
much
I
your
was
mom?
really, really, really close with, right? His name was Scott Milrose, right? He was fucking awesome. He's the one that treated my mom good and stuff like that. That's the one we lived with, and his house burnt down at one time. Um, and I guess he got a bunch of money from it, and he went and got a different place. All our stuff smelled like smoke, everything, right? And so that was one of the big things that happened. Our house had burnt down, and we had to move, stuff like that. And Scott was like the best, right? And so when we moved, it was like near Christmas time, and he was getting presents and stuff like that by the mall, and he was on Highway 9, and some kind of truck driver hit him and blew up on an explosion on impact, and he ended up dying in an impact explosion with this other transport truck driver, and that was in the newspaper as well.
All right, so that brings me into one of my big questions, and that is, have you ever experienced any death for loved ones? So, how did that make you feel whenever you finally had a role model like that, and then it just seems like he just snatched away from you?
It felt weird because I was always like looked up to my dad, but I didn't not look up to my dad even though we were he's in the wheelchair. We missed that part, but my father was in a wheelchair, so I still looked up to him even though he was in a wheelchair. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
I was just happy for my mom finally to have someone that I wasn't worried for her to be with. You know what I mean? I felt
yeah,
like she could be safe with this dude, and then I could just live a normal life and be on my own type of thing. Because I
yeah,
always planned that from a young age. I'm get the hell out of here. You know.
for sure. So, a, a question, I want to go a little bit into your early days. How was things in, like, let's say, like elementary school, and what kind of friends did you have? What kind of group of guys did you hang out with during that
Okay, I
time
hung out
period?
with all the bad kids in school, you know, all the
Okay,
like
even in elementary.
bandit and stuff like that, right? We'd all get suspended from school for smoking, and like I'm talking grade school, grade 7. You know, I'm showing all the grade 8s the marijuana, the weed, and dime bags because they don't know the prices. They don't know really what weed was. I kind of introduced the weed to the grade 7s and 8s at school, even though I was
Yeah.
younger in grade 7. And yeah, so I was making a killing just giving these guys dimes and half quarters, charging them $100 for like a 30 bag and stuff like that. Going and spending the money on booze, you know, party it up. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, like it was always the drinking crowd that's gonna anyone that can be around without no parents that is allowed to go out late at night and stay over or whatever. That's who I want because my mom's never home. So you guys come on over.
Yeah.
That's how I
It
was.
it uh it it sounds like you kind of never had the chance to be a kid.
Oh yeah, that's what my dad used to say all the time. He goes, "Your mom let you grow up too fast, live on your own too young, and stuff like that." Like by the time I was 15, I had my own apartment. You know,
Really.
well, not
So
an
tell
apartment.
me,
Sorry. Back up. It was a room. It was a room for $500 in a rooming house. So it wasn't an
still, that
apartment.
that's pretty decent at 15. So tell me a little bit about your dad. How did he end up in a wheelchair?
Okay, me and my father were in a head-on collision when I was 9 years old. Um, Head-on collision from this young 16-year-old kid. Um, in Canada here we have G1, 2, G1, G2, and then G. So when you have a G1, you have to have a licensed driver with you, and he didn't have a licensed driver with him. But whatever. Besides the point, when you have your G1, you're not even supposed to be on the highway. Period. You have to have your full license to drive on the highway. So anyway, this kid crossed over on a double solid line to pass, a double solid yellow line to pass, and hit us head on collision. And so we thought my dad's legs were broke. Like we went airborne, like off the highway on Highway 48. It was because there was no guardrail between. It was just like a 2-lane highway,
Yeah.
and we went flying into some farm field. I remember being upside down and my dad saying his legs are broken. Can I let me kick the window out? So I kicked the window out. I kicked it like 3 times. I couldn't do it because I was scared. My dad's like, just kick it out, like yelling and stuff. So I booted it out and broke it.
How do you think that situation affected you seeing your dad like that, helpless like that?
Um,
And if you don't want to answer anything, it's all right. We can definitely move on.
um, it was just like that. Change. It was like a split second. Everything changed. You know.
Yeah, man. I know. I know. I can see emotion in you whenever you talk about that, you know what I mean? Because even from the beginning your dad was it seems like he was one of the only big role models other than Scott, you know what I mean? And teaching you in the store how to stock shelves and stuff like that. And like I said, man, it seems like you didn't really have time to be a kid that these situations kept popping up and really really messed up the situation that you had for your role models and the male figures in your life. Uh, did it whenever that situation happened, did you have to pick up a lot more responsibilities around, you know what I mean,
Oh yeah,
whenever
my
you were
dad was
with
in
your
the
dad or
hospital for
whatnot?
2 years, so I couldn't see him basically unless I go see him in the hospital. So he's not really coming back, and we lost everything from that accident because my dad didn't have insurance, and he wasn't really supposed to be driving either. And so like he lost his house, lost cars, the shop, everything.
So not only did it affect y'all emotionally and physically, but it completely dwindled him financially as well.
Yeah, and like my
Did,
dad's the
did
one that had money. My mom was always the one really just trying to work to make a paycheck to cover rent. You know, always
yeah.
working long hours to cover rent, and then on her free time being with her boyfriends. You know what I mean? So,
So then you definitely remember in your childhood that finances was a problem at some times.
oh yeah, big time, big time. That's why. Well, my dad used to go when I work on the store. He'd give me a couple bucks, and that was really cool. You know, but
Yeah.
when I was really young, like my mom always had food in the house. You know what I mean? And you know, like we always had a place, but it was like sometimes I wouldn't know what's going on. Like we weren't like a normal family. Like a lot of kids would have lunch every day made for them by their parents. This, that, the third. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it would just be like, well, I'm skipping school. I'm fucking not even going to school. Never mind getting at lunch. Like I'll be at the
Yeah.
restaurant selling dime bags. Fucking hope your fucking parents give you lunch money because I need it. Like hello.
Yeah.
You know what
So
I mean?
that brings me to another big thing that I really think is important in the childhood. So like did y'all go and do like vacations and did you have like play sports or do hobbies or anything like that, or were you kind of boxed in because of their lifestyles and everything going on?
Everything started happening like before I was like 6 and stuff. I guess maybe some good stuff was happening, but I don't really remember much. My mom always tells me we used to go out on a boat all the time and stuff, but I don't remember much of it because I was so young, like 3, 4 years old at the time, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and then once my grandma got murdered, everything was fucking crazy after that with my mom because she was so sad about this guy getting found not guilty for killing my grandma, and us finding her like that underneath the stairs, uh, shoved in this little cubby hole, like literally with the telephone cord wrapped around her neck.
All right, so one big thing that I want to touch base on is obviously with this situation being brought up, with that happening with your grandma, tell me about the physical and the mental trauma that did that hinder you at all as you grew up?
Oh yeah, I wanted to like find this guy. for a long time. I've dreamed I want to find this guy and kill the guy.
Do you think seeing somebody you love like that maybe kind of desensitized you and
It
made it easier for you to hurt
death,
people?
you know, especially because it's not the only person. Like it started happening with my grandma, and then everything started happening. Like friends I was growing up with were dying, stuff like that at the same time. You know what I mean? Growing up in these rough neighborhoods, you're seeing your friends getting hurt, ODing, getting shot. You know, all kinds of things, stabbed. I've seen it all, man. If you guys just look up like places I've been at, like Jane and Finch, look up Jane and Finch shootings if you're from America, or like Regent Park shootings, and stuff like that.
So when did you start getting in trouble, like criminally, like
Get
to
in
where you
trouble.
actually had to get
Well, I got
arrested?
kicked out in grade 8. Totally got kicked out of school. In grade 7, I got suspended a couple of times. In grade 5, we just used to get in trouble for like smoking and sneaking off of school at like lunchtime. And I guess it just progressed more and more as the years went on. Every
How
year I
was
worse and worse type deal. Started
so
in grade
how
5,
was
smoking. Grade 6, probably we used to, I don't know, sneak to like 13-year old dances, and then we do all kinds of stuff like go on these um, chains that say like danger, and if you drop down, it's like you would die way down. And we'd like shimmy across the chain for fun and like joke around, and me and my homies and stuff think it's funny and stuff. We
yeah.
could have died doing it, shit like that.
Yeah, it's crazy when we're young how we don't see the value of life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as a kid, did you ever feel different? Did you ever feel like you had anxiety or depression or you didn't function the way other kids function?
Every time in school, the teacher would always say that I distract the other children, this and that. That I'm really smart, but I just don't want to apply myself, and all this kind of stuff, right? Because
Them kind of things burn in your head, don't they?
what was burning in my head.
I'm saying whenever somebody like a teacher says something like that to you, it kind of sticks with you, don't it?
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? The weirdest thing part about it was the teacher in elementary school in grade 8. She told us all, "Here's a journal for yourself, and here's a journal for the class that I'm gonna mark for for school. But the one that is yours, and we won't touch it, we won't look at it, nothing. This is just for your private stuff, right?" So I
Yeah.
was writing my rap songs in the private one, right? And one time I skipped school and I didn't come to school that day, and she said it fell out my desk. Okay, but anyway, so my book fell out the desk, the one she wasn't supposed to read, and she read it. And because of all these bad rap songs that I was writing in them, she had called the police over it. You believe that?
Wow.
And the police
Wow.
came and they're like trying to decipher this rap song, dude. And because she was like kind of heavy, and at one
Yeah.
part in the song said something about teach bitch or something like that. I can't remember, but it didn't even say teacher. It said teach in one part, like I'm gonna teach. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then something else says something about bitch. So they're trying to put all these different words from different verses together and shit, and be like, well, this goes with this word, and
They
because
tried to write a narrative out of it.
fat, this word fat's up here, and it's like,
Yeah.
what the hell, you guys on, man? And they
Yeah.
literally kicked me out of school for it, yo.
So you could definitely say that your trust was kind of ruined there in people. Do you ever remember any other time somebody you loved or care about let you down? Any really important times that you were let down?
Um, well, I was let down by one of my best homies,
What happened with that?
girl. Okay, I was 13 years old. I had this girlfriend, this Asian girl named Angel. She was 14, right? She wanted to have a baby, okay, because her mom used to tell her, all right, all white guys are rich. You need to have a. This is what she told me, okay? All white guys are rich. Have a baby with a white guy, and that's not true at all. But this is what her mom used to brainwash in her head, right? So anyway, she wanted to have a baby so freaking bad, dude, and that's the only reason I broke up with her at the time, because she was really good looking girl at the time when I was, that age. And so I broke up with her, and I remember her keep crying on the porch, and I wouldn't answer, and I guess she got so mad at me, she went to my best friend's house, and then he hooked up with her. But whatever, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
But
but see,
now he's bringing her around every day when I don't even want her around because I broke up with her. You see what I
yeah.
mean?
And see, I think a lot of people, I know for myself, I can just speak for myself, but we talk about things like that, and in our minds right now in our 20s and 30s, it doesn't really seem important,
No,
but you got to look at it in the
it's
way
stupid.
of it may not even be important now, but it was important when you were that kid and your friend did that to you. You know what I mean? And for you to remember it, it obviously messed with your mental because it's messed your trust up.
Right. Because this dude used to sleep over like every night. You know what I mean? He never used to go home. This guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, it was just weird because now it's like, okay, I'm gonna break up with this chick, so I don't have to see this chick no more. Fuck it, I'm getting rid of this chick. And then next thing you
Yeah.
know, your best friend's bringing her around. And not only
Yeah.
that, I didn't care about that part because like the worst part about it is, I don't even want to get into it, but yeah,
Okay.
the worst part about it
So,
is like he would never even be around this chick. Like me and him would always be together. You know what
yeah.
I mean? After the baby was born, I mean, like after they went and had a baby and all this and that, it was like she kind of went on her own and he kind of tried to like drift back with me. So it was like, what was all this betrayal for, really? You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
very odd.
Then you
Yeah,
just go
that's
off and
very
dick
odd.
her anyways. It's just
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's not like you went off in a happy family type deal. Then I wouldn't have been like so care so much.
Yeah, for
But it was
sure.
all like a big joke to him.
So I know you've had a lot of loss in your life. So if you would just kind of give me a short, brief summary on some of the important deaths that you endured growing up.
Okay,
I know your grandmother and
yeah,
Scott.
you know, my dad died in 2014, and I wasn't a kid then. But my father passed. You
Wait,
know,
so
Dave,
your
my
father's
cousin
passed
Dave,
away
who was
now?
probably my blood cousin. It was my like my best friend. My other really tight friend Dave. um, Another friend of mine died with cancer. Um, Quite a few people. I can't think of them all off the top of my head, but lots of people around me kept dying. Like, oh yeah, like an ex girlfriend of mine that I was close with died from pneumonia, named Renee. Um, who else? There's a lot of people. I just to just get asked and think of them all like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know. So, question, did you ever think about harming yourself or hurting somebody else as a kid?
Well, I did hurt other people as a kid, like quite a few
Tell
times.
me about that. Tell me about that.
I was convicted for assault, caused bodily harm, assault with a weapon at like what 15, 16 years old. Went and did time in Tyack. Yeah, I used to get in real trouble. Like I would go to the high school and like this guy's supposed to be a big bad drug dealer. You're in grade 12. I'm only a little kid in grade 9. I would come there and rob them for their chain, rob them for their drugs, their money, everything. And then they go and call the police on me. So then I get arrested. And guys would literally be like way older than me, 10 years older than me, like 28 when I would be like 16, 17, dude. And they would want to fight me because I had robbed their homie or I had done something wrong to somebody that they know. And I would show up literally to fight these dudes because they wanted to. Them being that much older, they would show up with like a knife, something malicious to try to stab me with. And I look down on the ground and see a 2x4 to the myself. I pick it up and he's like with the knife, so I hit him like in the arm to get rid of the knife, and it breaks his arm. And then so he drops the knife, I hit him in the head and it cracked his skull. And then like literally this guy tells him exactly what route I went, everything up to my cousin's house. They literally show up there at their door. It's like what the fuck, man?
Why do
So
you
that guy specifically, I waited 20 months to get out of the Lindsay jail to go and make a point. You can't be ratting on people and think they're not going to come out of jail and be scared because you're going to call the cops again. So I came out of jail and I went and I fucked him up so bad again, and I went back to jail again. I know that's
Yeah.
really stupid to think about now, and I probably shouldn't have done that. And I look back and that's why I say it makes me sick now when I look back at it because it's just so dumb. And normal people with a normal mind probably would say, you know what, fuck it, the guy's gonna rat on me, leave it alone. You know what I mean? But to
So
prove
why do
to
you think it was
everybody,
so
I wanted to be the one to prove a point. I shouldn't have been the one to try to do that.
So why do you think it was so easy for you to do that? Because a lot of people they would struggle to
I
hurt
used to
somebody.
think that it wasn't real, man. I used to think that things weren't real because other people would be dying all around me, and I wouldn't die, and it would be like I would come so close to dying every time, but I wouldn't die. You
So
know,
tell me
so
about some
it's
of the
unrealistic to me, and because I've never left the city that I'm born in, to
Yeah,
me it's almost like some kind of like a Truman Show shit. Like everyone's fucking in on it, like this is a joke shit. That's what I
yeah.
used to think when I was on drugs, not anymore. But when you're on them type of hard drugs, you start thinking all kinds of weird shit when you've had this type of life.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about your history with substances and how they've affected your life.
Well, young age, I started selling OxyContin for my dad. He was quadriplegic.
So
Eventually, I got baby pills.
would you say you're an opiate guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was OxyContin, 80 milligram, green
Okay.
monsters we called them back in the day. And from like 13 to 16, I think I was just like running them in, selling them for them. And then I got a little older, and people were getting curious about them because everyone was always older in my group. So I was hanging around like 18, 19-year-olds at 16. So they all knew what these were. And so I wanted to try some. And so then when I tried it, and then that was it. Life over after that. I became an opiate addict, and then it was just like I got real violent after that, even more violent than I already was. And that's when like crime just became like, well, I'm out of drugs. Like, who's the next drug dealer that I can rob?
Do you think drugs numbed you and took you to a place where you wanted to be? Kind of hid you from everything?
Oh yeah, drugs was like my girlfriend back then, bro. When I was on OxyContin and heroin, bro, literally drugs was like my girlfriend. I'd go to a hotel room, be by myself, and just drift off into the world, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
need
tell
nobody.
so tell me the extent
I was
that
the type
the
of guy that liked to
addiction.
get high on my own, okay, period, by myself.
So tell me the extent of the addiction. Like, how bad did it get? Did it get to the point where like you started losing things, overdoses, health? Like,
Yeah, I was okay. I got to the point where like I was doing two Oxy 80s in one smash. You know what I mean? And I would literally okay, go rent a hotel room, get in the hotel room at like the afternoon. It's like daylight outside, and then I get everything ready, do a smash, and I wake up. It's like fucking the middle of the night, and I'm on the floor. You feel me? Like obviously I OD'd or some shit, but and I wake up and everything's everywhere, shit like that.
how many times have you overdosed?
Well, I don't know. Like when I would overdose, it would be like on fentanyl and stuff like that. It would be like I would put the fentanyl on top of the pop can and cook up these fentanyl patches or whatever I was doing. And then that shit used to make me OD almost every time. Like I would cook up the whole patch or whatever on this pop can thing, take it in the syringe, and then I'd be in like the bathroom stall or whatever, and I would do the smash. And I swear to God, I would be out cold for like 10 hours, bro, and I'd wake back up 10 hours
Yeah,
later. I'd be like, what the fuck? It's like 8 hours later. How is that possible? And you know
yeah,
how stupid you are. You wake up and you're like, fuck. Now the high is gone, pretty much, and you want to do it again.
hundred
So I don't even
percent.
leave the fucking stall, and I start making up another one.
Yeah, 100%
Like,
for
what?
sure.
What kind of weirdo am I?
So back then, whenever you were living that life, how would you have defined a man if someone asked you to define what a man is back then?
Sorry, what?
If somebody would have asked you back then what the definition of a man is, what would you have told them?
What the definition of a man is?
Yeah,
Back
back
then,
then.
back then, it was like the definition of a man is uh like someone like Robert De Niro in the movie Casino type of thing,
Yeah.
or someone like that, like like a big gangster, you
Yeah,
know.
respect, money, women, stuff like that.
Right.
So if you had to answer this, what would some of your biggest achievements as a child or a teenager? What are some of your biggest achievements from back then?
What do you mean by achievements? Like, I don't
Graduating high school, getting a job, getting married, kids, getting a new vehicles, anything.
making it through gladiator
Anything
school for
special to
fucking
you.
10 years, bro, and being alive, staying in general pop my whole fucking life and never cracking, being the only white boy on the range and never leaving.
Yeah. So what'd you say? 10 years? Say what was 10 years about? I didn't hear the first part.
Like 8 years to 10 years. I don't know. I don't count, man.
Yeah.
Like 8 to 10 years I served.
How long have you been sober?
5 years.
Damn, that's a big achievement right there, bro.
Well, I'd say that, yeah.
So
This was a big accomplishment, but that's not when I was a child, you know?
yeah. Yeah, for
That
sure.
took me a long
Absolutely.
time.
So what led you to
Long time.
all the time that you did? What was some of the main criminal things that
Okay,
that
so
led
the
you to
main
that?
things was the a lot of mostly all assaults, like assault police, assault caused bodily harms, and robberies. I've had a lot of breaches and a lot of thefts, but the main ones were like the assault caused bodily harm, assault with a weapon, and robbery times two. And the criminal negligence I beat, but that was a serious charge because they wanted to give me a plea bargain for 7 years, but I didn't want to take that because I don't know. Every other charge I always pleaded guilty, but I just felt weird about that charge, and it was just if I didn't beat it at the trial, they kept telling me, trying to scare me to get me to plead out, and they kept saying,
Yeah.
"Well, there's no statutory whatever limit that they can give you. They could give you any kind of time they want, because some charges is like, say a theft, you can't go and give somebody life for a theft or something like that, right? Because there's like
Yeah.
a maximum time, I guess, that you can give someone on an assault or whatever. But this one charge here, criminal negligence, doesn't have a like a capping point, so they could give you life for it if they wanted.
Damn. So what was some of your biggest struggles while you were locked up? What did you struggle with the most?
Mm-hmm. The struggle with the most,
Yeah.
being away from like just being away, you know, being away
Yeah.
from society, really.
Freedom.
Um, and then when you go to the hole, I used to be in the hole quite often, right?
So tell
So,
me about that. Give me some detail on some of your confinement time, because
okay,
that's hell.
all right, here, let me take a puff of this shit, man. Yeah, my confinement time's pretty crazy, bro. Like, I wouldn't. Some jails, like the Don jail, I stayed on one range the whole time for 14 months, and then other jails, it would just be like I get into a fight with one dude, and I'd be in the hole for a long period of time, and then I come out of the hole, go to another range, and it would be like, "Oh, you fought my buddy," type deal. "Oh, are you racist?" type of deal, and it would be like nothing even to do with race. It had to do with food type of shit, and it
Yeah.
would be like, totally like set up from coming out of the hole, and I've got to fight as soon as I get there type shit,
Yeah.
you know. But I'll tell
So
you
did
what.
yeah, for sure.
So the whole is like going to jail when you're in jail, right? It's probably the worst thing I've ever experienced. Really, it's like if you're claustrophobic, you're gonna crack. You're like I used to be claustrophobic, until I seen that. Is just like you have to get claustrophobic out of your mind because this is your world for the next however long. And the ones without windows are the worst ones. I've been in ones that have windows, and at the time I didn't think it was anything. When I was in one without a window, that was really, really, really weird because you don't know what time it is, what time of day it is. You can kind of tell when the breakfast, lunch, and dinner will come. Okay, so it's breakfast, it's lunch, it's dinner, but the dinner comes say at 5 o'clock. Okay, so now from 5 o'clock till the next morning at say like 5 or 6 a.m. when the breakfast comes, you have no clue what time it is. So and they always keep the light on, right? So the thing is, you could fall asleep for 2, 3 hours and then wake up and think you slept the whole night and then not know, like it messes your mind up, right? So that's one thing there that messes with your brain. Another thing is if you have like issues and fight and give them hard times and stuff like that, or even if they just want to be dicks, because really I didn't really even do anything to the guards except for not tell them what they want. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they will mess with you. They will mess with your food, mess with your yard time, mess with anything they can possibly mess with your phone that you're supposed to get. You're supposed to slide around this little payphone thing to that everybody's hatch and let them have like an hour every other day or something like that, or 20 minutes. I
Yeah.
forget what it is. They come
Did
around.
you ever did you ever think about, or did you ever hurt yourself while you were in confinement?
I never let anybody know that I hurt myself because they'll put you on suicide watch. And I
Yeah,
ain't wearing no pink dress, dude. You feel me?
yeah.
I ain't doing it, so I ain't fucking telling them how I'm feeling. If I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna commit suicide, I ain't telling nobody. I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
listen,
That's not gonna tell me when I would just do it. You feel me? I ain't like that.
yeah. Confinement in America has ruined some men. I did a video the other day about John Powers that he cut his own intestines out. You know what I mean? He chewed
Oh,
his two fingers off. He drilled
okay,
a hole
okay,
in his
yeah.
head with
My
a
friend did a
battery.
video on him. Brother Chad did a video on him, right? It's the same guy from Butter the Razor
Yeah.
Wire. Okay, yeah.
So yeah,
Chad
yeah,
did a video.
Chad.
Oh my god, that was insane. The video. I told Chad
Yeah,
that video there touched me in a fucked up way because of me
yeah.
being so much time in confinement. When he was telling that story, I was crying, bro. Like,
22
tears were coming
years
to
in
my eye when I heard
confinement.
that story on his channel, bro.
Yeah,
Because I was
yeah,
thinking the
man.
shit he was telling me, I was like, what with the thing with his head?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, big shout out to John J. Powers. He actually has a YouTube channel.
Did
He's
he
been
start one?
released from federal prison
Big
and
shout
he's
out to him.
doing
He's a real
YouTube
one right
videos.
there. That's a
Yeah.
solid guy right there, man. And
So
big
what did
making it through. I shout him out for that, making it through and
yeah,
where
for
he is now
sure.
in life.
So
Yeah, but
how did
going back
confinement
to
mess with
hurting
you?
myself, I never like did no crazy hurting myself, but at certain times you would just sit there and be like it wouldn't hurt me because we would do this all the time when we were kids and punch the brick walls and shit. Me and my friends in little school and shit. So I'd sit there and punch the walls and the doors and shit like for fun, like just shadow boxing and working out and
Yeah.
shit, but not any fucked up shit. No.
Okay, I got you. Did you ever see any extortion or inmate abuse while you were incarcerated?
Oh yeah, all the time. And
Yeah.
maybe I'm hurting myself with the weed. I'm smoking weed like crazy, like fucking every time. Like if I put out a spliff, maybe if like in the hole, I would try to smoke weed as much as I could. Every time that cleaner guy comes by, I'd be like, "Yo,
Yeah.
you tell my so and so, send
Yeah,
some
for
shit down
sure.
here with you next time."
You
um,
ever seen anyone get stabbed in prison or jail?
oh yeah, I've been stabbed in prison. I've stabbed people in prison,
So
or
tell
not
me about when you
prison,
were
jail.
stabbed.
Sorry, jail. You guys call prison different down there.
Tell us about when you were stabbed.
Okay,
What
I've been
happened with
stabbed
that?
multiple times, so I've been stabbed a few different times in gang stuff, just like fighting gang members. I've been just, but the thing is, these stabs that we're talking about are shanks they make in these things in Toronto, in these jails are. I guess they could kill you if they hit you in a certain spot. You know what I mean? But we
Yeah.
call them jigas, and
Oh,
what
it's
they are is
like a little
glass
poker.
trays sharpened down with a point,
Yeah.
wrapped up, with a handle, and they're like long like this, but I don't know. I guess if you get hit in a certain spot, you'll die, right? But
Yeah.
where I would get hit, I would protect myself a lot of times. So I get hit in spots like I got hit in my arm, I got hit in my shoulder blade right here in the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Places that's not going to kill me type of deal. But I've seen like a really tense situation one time where two different friends that were both gang members in different sets of mine were like ready to stab each other, and like his whole buddies are beside him and his buddies are beside him, and they're like both looking at me like where I'm gonna fucking stand and shit like this, and I'm like feeling so much pressure on me, like, and I'm just like fuck man, and I didn't know what to do, so I just didn't move. I just stood beside the guy I was already standing beside. You know what I mean? And it was
Yeah.
just like, holy fuck, I hope to God that these guys don't stab each other right now because then I'm going to have to be fighting some of my own homies over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So my next question actually
And
was,
long
have
story
you
short, they
ever
didn't
had to hurt
fucking
someone you
actually
didn't want
stab
to?
each other. So they actually both just put their knives away and chilled out and they didn't end up fighting at that moment.
I got you. So have you ever had to do something to somebody in there that you didn't want to do?
Quite a few times I've had to hurt people on defense. Like pretty much most of the times when I would hurt people in there, if you listen to my stories on my channel, it was always defending myself most of the time. And because they're attacking me, I'm gonna take it personally and take it like where trying to take my life, man. So,
Yeah,
I'm gonna try my hardest to not get taken. And
for sure.
when you're in these type of places, it's scary because most guys do have a knife. So I would go in the shower literally with these little bat things that I kind of showed on my channel how I would make, and they would get real hard little bat thing, right? If you look it up on my channel, it shows you how to make it. But so I have this little miniature bat, and I put that in my towel roll, and I would go and sit down on my little ledge like there with my clothes. So that way, and I would keep my eyes open, obviously, while I'm showering. And if anybody even comes near the toilet, I'm fucking going over near my towel quickly. You know what I mean? So if they try to come near me, I'm pulling out the bat. I know you have a shank on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
I'm not gonna
sure.
get the shank. I'm gonna hit you right with this bat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I had to defend myself a few times like that. And about food in some of these jails, guys are so ruthless. They'll come up and take your chicken off your plate, bro. For real, for real. And if you want to be on a vegetable diet, then you just let them take it and don't fight and don't do nothing. And you'll be on
Yeah,
a vegetable diet
most
the whole time you're
definitely.
here.
Most definitely. So what's the most important thing in your life now?
The most important thing in my life now is my sobriety and my channel.
Okay, awesome.
I don't got much, bro. And my family, my broken, like LTF and broken misfits and shit. I don't have shit, bro.
No, for sure. If you could go back and change one mistake, what would it be? And you can take you a couple hits if you want to think about that one. I'll
Yeah,
get me one.
yeah. I know. Let me think about it. If I could change something, like, okay, forever.
Yeah, one mistake. One thing that happened in the past. If you could change it, what would you change?
Hold on, hold on. You see how long that was sitting there? How would that do that? That's got to be some weird shit. A ghost or something.
That was a setup, my dude.
That was a ghost. Bro, that was there for like over an hour, man. Come on. How could that be shaken up? You know?
Yeah,
That's crazy. Okay. Anyway.
I'm gonna
Okay.
make it. I'm gonna make a drink for you, Eddie.
What?
I said I'm gonna make a drink for you. We're gonna get into some real stuff here shortly if you got some time.
Yeah. Okay. So, the thing that I would probably change would be mine and my dad's car accident.
Okay. I definitely want to come back to that. I want to come back to that because I don't want to. I want to save one thing for last because I feel like it's really, really important. So my next question is going to be, are you genuinely happy right now? And if you are, why? And if you aren't, why not? Like genuinely happy.
I'm genuinely happy right now, yes, because
Okay.
things are progressing in my life. I have certain
Dope.
people in my life that are putting things in place, and I got a couple of real ones.
For sure. It takes a village sometimes, man. It definitely does. I gotta keep a few people close to me because without them I can't make it.
I hear you.
And it's just reality.
Make it on
How
your
would
own.
you yeah,
Can't.
no, for sure. So how would you define a man now? Because I asked you how you used to define a man. What is the definition of a man for you now?
Now, a definition for a man is somebody that works hard every day and takes care of their family, and you know, law abiding and takes care of their wife and children.
For sure. Most definitely. So with the message that you gave us today, why should kids listen to us? I mean, are we bullshitting?
No, we're not bullshitting. Kids
There's
should listen to
definitely
us so they
people
don't
that
end
can
up having
relate.
vibes like we did, man.
Yeah.
We don't want to fucking tell them that just to, you know, make them not have fun, because it's not going to be no fun when you get in there. Trust me.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
and I know 90% of the people that watch this stuff aren't kids because like most of the stuff's restricted over 18 anyway. But there might be the odd one that sneaks his parents' phone or does this or that does see it. You know, and I'm talking about the young 18, 19-year-old ones. Those are the ones that need it the most, that are going to be in there for the first time in adult jail at that young age. You don't want that, man. That's when it's the worst. You're the youngest one there. You know, you just don't want jail, man. Jail is the worst thing that can ever happen to you. And then once you have it on your record once, it's like they just treat you like garbage, like as if you're some scum of the earth or something.
Yeah, most
And then they
definitely.
just use that against you forever. Like here, we don't get bails like you guys do in the States. In the US, I love your guys' bail system because here you literally have to fight with freaking lawyers and shit to get your bail here and like prove why you should get it and put up sureties and show who your sureties are that are going to watch you and put the
Really?
money up and oh yeah, all that, man. It's crazy here. You literally have to fight like a trial to get your damn bail here. If they say a show cause hearing,
Yeah.
sometimes they give you a promise to appear, but if they give you a DO, a detention order, and say you need to go for a show cause hearing, which they do to me all the time, you go to bail the next morning, and if you don't get bail, bro, you're going to detention where I tell you you do dead time for till you're done your trial. And if you don't
Yeah,
get
for
bail,
sure.
that's it.
For sure. All right. So, how old are you, Eddie?
30.
30. All right. So, just, just, just gonna throw this out there. My definition of a
Well, my birthday's
man.
in October, so
I got you. So I want to throw this out there just for the audience. My definition of a man is pretty much kind of like you said. It's somebody that provides. It's somebody that protects. It's somebody that takes care of their family. It's somebody that gives guidance to their kids and a good image to look up to. And I also think a real man is somebody that's in touch with their feelings and emotions, and they don't really care what people think. And I just want to put it out there because do you think you hurt people because you were hurting inside?
I was a different person. I can't even answer that because I wasn't even the same person I am today. You
Yeah,
know, I was a person that was like to the point where I didn't care if you would shoot me in the face or not. You know what I mean?
yeah, for
So right
sure.
now I'm at the point where I really cherish my life, and it's like I'm not the same person today.
Yeah. But I do think we could say that
I feel
and
bad, and it makes me sick about hurting the people.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But I really want to touch on your hurt because that's what this is all about. And honestly, man,
I always fucking smuggled and masked my hurt.
yeah, and that's something that we always do. And it's something that was very easily for you to do because like I said, as you were growing up, the situations and the circumstances that you were in, I've been writing them down the whole time we're here. I've done filled up 2 pages of it. You didn't have a chance to be a kid. You just didn't. Um, you were forced to grow up pretty fast. You know what I mean?
I
And you've
didn't have
seen
a
a
chance
lot
to
of
be an
messed
adult
up
either. I've only
situations.
been an adult the past 5 years. Before that, I was just a warrior.
Yeah. So, what do you think makes you still hurt to this day?
Um, what makes me hurt to this day? I don't know, man. I don't really know. Everything, man. I don't know. Everything that I told you.
Because it's hard for, like, let's say for me, whenever I came into sobriety, a part of sobriety is us not hurting ourselves anymore. You know what I mean? And when we're in our addiction, that's what we're doing really is we're hurting ourselves, we're gambling with death. And how has that transition been
Yeah, before I always
from
used to just when I would feel that way, I would just go shoot up, right?
yeah.
And now it's like, yeah, I feel that way now, and it's just like,
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
know,
saying.
man, I'll
So
try to
how
go
has
talk to somebody, you know?
how that's what I'm saying. How has that transition been for you from going from completely numb to living a normal life and being normal and feeling emotions and having to come up with solutions because it's hard for a lot of people whenever they get out to do shit like that, man.
It is. I know. So what do you,
Has
what,
it been an easy transition or
oh
has
no,
it been a
it hasn't been
struggle?
an easy transition at all. I uh, basically just gave up everything and just started basically over kind of somewhat, but just thinking the whole time, well, my name will still ring bells in the streets even if I go away and straighten my life out. I don't have to
Yeah,
come out of jail and keep doing this shit. I'm old now.
yeah, Well,
go
it's
to work,
like
you know,
it's like you said. We
and
both just shared our
I was like,
definition of a
being
man,
in
and
jail
that's
all
what
that
you're
time and
doing.
shit, you don't have a life. And then before that, like you said, I didn't really do much. So when I got out, it was like I have to do it now, or I'm never gonna have a life. I'll be in there for the rest of my life next time. You know, that's the kind of that's what I thought when I got out the last time. And when I was in there too, seeing all this shit, I was like, you know, this time a few times I thought to myself, this time I'm going to do it, and then I would get out and I wouldn't, you know. And then that really sucked. And I get back in there, I think, fuck, man, I wish I would have done it, you know. But then this
Yeah.
last time, I finally just said, you know, in order to do that, you can't go out and do drugs and shit like that. Because the first thing I would
Yeah.
do when I would get out is drugs, and that's what would set me right back off to the whole everything.
For sure.
Yeah. So that's why I changed everything by getting out this time and moving away and throwing the numbers away to the drug dealers. Like I could easily go get a spot of any kind of drugs, like for even if I don't have money. Like, um,
So what keeps
so
you
that's why
sober
it's so
today?
easy to be on drugs. And when you have everybody you know is a drug dealer, everybody you grew up with is a gang member. Like it's just like fucked up. You know what I mean? Because so I
Yeah.
had to literally put everybody out of my mind and just be by myself for and go to work, come home, and that's all I did for like a few years. And then one day I was just watching YouTube, and I was just like, the thing went off when I was watching actually Lockdown in 23-1. And I was like, shit, man, people really want to hear this shit? Is that serious? People want to hear this stuff. And so I knew somebody, Doc TV 813, and he asked me to come on his channel. And I went on his channel, and that's where a lot of my subs came from at the very beginning, like 20 of them came right over and subscribed. And ever since they've been subscribed to me, and I love those people. And if it wasn't for him probably interviewing me, I might not have started a channel because they were the ones that said, yo, you should start your channel, da da da. Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had already started the channel, but just for my song. I didn't plan on doing the talking about my prison. It was a song about me being in jail that I wrote in jail, you know, the Orange Shutters and Chains one. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm glad he interviewed me because I really, really appreciate that because you know it changed my life and the people I talk to now and my chat and everything mean the world to me now. Like 30 weeks in a row, talking to them every Saturday. You know, there's ones that have been there every week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have that, man. It's good to have that loyalty. It's a necessity, I think.
Yeah, and I'm
So what are
just loyal, you know, to them. Like,
so
fuck it.
I know obviously like the your family on your channel and then the Broken Misfits. What are some other things that keep you sober today that keep you on the straight path, keep you focused?
Wanting to make it, you know, wanting to make my talents succeed because I've always had a talent, you know, and I don't care what anybody says. Like ever since I was young, I was singing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I used to go when I was like 12, 13 and sing around bonfires at parties, and I just always sang. You know, I never thought I would ever do that for work or whatever, but so that's what keeps me going. I have goals and shit like that. You know what I mean? I have goals that I want to attend. I have things that I want to accomplish in life before I go. You know?
Yeah. So where would you like to see yourself? Like explain to me success for you. What is the end goal?
Well, you're gonna have to stay tuned in to that one.
Okay. Okay, bet. Keep
But
you
the
gotta
first
keep a
goal is to
hook in the
monetize the
water.
channel. We'll tell you the first goal is to monetize the channel and get the 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
That's the first goal. We'll go from there.
Yeah. How about personal stuff? You ever want to, you know what I mean, get your own spot, have a family, settle
Oh, I've
down,
already accomplished
anything
that. I
like
have my
that?
own spot, bro. I had my own spot for 5 years. That's what I mean. Like I
Okay.
pay 13.50 here. This is expensive shit, bro.
Wow, that is crazy fucking
And
expensive.
you know, it's a lot because like in my construction job, I only bring like 5 bills a week, roughly. When you take it all after, it's like 2 grand a month. So I don't.
Yeah, bro.
You got bills and then 13.50 rent. You know, food shit. You know,
Yeah.
it's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I've done a lot of videos. I've planted a lot of seeds in this little YouTube world. Like it's like a kind of like plants that haven't grown yet. You know,
For sure.
I look at it.
Has the COVID thing, you think that's messed up anything with like work and finances and YouTube and all that? It's messed up things over here pretty
Yeah, the
bad.
COVID thing messed me right up. Made me gain 80 pounds. I wasn't working the whole time. You know, those stupid freaking oh, stay inside, don't come outside, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
So, one of the most important things that I got for you, if you could go back in time and you could talk to Eddie when he was a kid, I'd say around, started early for you, so I'd say around 10 years old. What would you tell him, knowing everything you know now?
I tell him, mm, hold on, tell him, hold on, let me think. Not to do the oxys, not to take the pill.
Yeah, yeah. That was a big switch for me too. That's probably, I can relate to that. Mine would probably be, everything changed for me when I picked that needle up. I mean, everything changed. So that's probably one of the decisions I would have done too as well.
Yeah,
Hey man, Eddie, I'm proud of you, dude. I think you came a long way, man. I think you're finally living out the definition of what a man is. I think you got a hell of a story and a hell of a voice. If you're cool with it, I would definitely like to do a part two one time with you, in the future for sure. Because dude, you got a ton of stuff in your childhood. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure,
I
bro. I
really
like
would.
and stuff like that, man. You dig in deep and stuff like that. I think you're meant for this, man. You know,
I
the way you
appreciate that, bro.
questions and stuff. You know, they're original, and you know, I can tell that you take it seriously.
Yeah, man.
You have a goal and stuff like that, and you know, I have a goal with this. You know what I mean?
So,
So
what's your goal?
you're telling my stuff.
What's your goal of your channel?
Well, you know, whenever I tell people that shit, is just like they think it's dumb, so I don't really like to talk about it. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I'll just do it. You know, people that say this stuff and then they don't do it, so I'll just show you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, there's nothing better than
People that
action.
like to show people. I'm like the people that like to do it instead of saying it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with action. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with, yeah,
I tell
there's
people
nothing
that all the
wrong with
time.
that.
Don't show me, fuck, show me, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Hey, we're definitely gonna stay tuned so we can see that success come up. Anybody that's not sub to
Oh,
Eddie
and guess what?
at,
We're gonna be
what's
doing some
that?
shorts.
Oh yeah, tonight you're gonna do them?
Yeah, some. We got
Okay,
the phone
bet.
now, so you know we're gonna go fucking ham. I got like so much content saved up that I wanted to put out that I couldn't because my phone's been crushed for like 3 weeks.
What are you using right now? A webcam or something?
My PC, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty clear though.
But you can't do much on it. Like there's so much stuff. My TikTok, for example, I got like 350 people there that follow me there, and at least 250 of them aren't subscribed here. That are people that love my stuff over there, and they all got millions of comments to me, and I can't answer them. They probably think I'm a jerk because I can't answer
Yeah.
them because it says on the PC you can't answer on this device. You need the phone. You know,
Wow,
I can't
really?
do shorts. I can't do a bunch of stuff. So all my friends that have channels have been on me. Do shorts, do shorts. So I got that
Yeah,
brainwashed in here, man. You know, last night
for
I'm trying to go
sure.
to sleep and all I hear is all my friends do shorts, do shorts. Ugh.
Yeah, I've only done one. I need to get more into that TikTok, dude, because I had a TikTok and I was mainly posting like construction stuff, but I got some videos that have like 400,000 views.
Nice, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't have like YouTube. I have a little bit, and TikTok's really actually the only one where I have over 1,000 subscribers on, and that I need to start utilizing that.
Yeah, you need to use that platform, man. 1,000 people, that's a lot, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
for sure, for
I
sure.
find
I'm
it
hope.
hard to get people to come over from different platforms. Like I got almost 5,000 people on Facebook.
Yeah,
I keep saying, yo, a couple of you come over. You don't get one person over. It's like,
yeah,
okay,
for sure, for
it's
sure.
crazy, you know.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
Has it been weird for you? I'm gonna be honest, because I haven't been in it long at all, and it's been weird for me. Like it would be hard for me to share this on Facebook because then people that I actually know are gonna see it. Did you struggle with that at all, or are you just kind of winging it,
uh,
going with it?
nah, I don't have everybody that I know in real life already knows that I'm fucking nuts and I already did all that jail time. So
Yeah,
they already know
for
all the
sure.
shit that I've been in jail my whole life. Like my family and anyone who knows me They'll be like, damn,
Yeah.
he's straightened out and fucking proud of me and shit.
Yeah,
Like
it's
all
a
my friends
testimony.
and shit, they're all proud of me. Like, yeah, man, you're doing your shit, you know.
Yeah.
And anybody that knew me from back then would just be like either hating on me or, oh, yo, I'm proud of you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and you definitely you have a good vibe about it too. It's not like a war story. You always kind of talk about it like a testimony. You know what I mean? You use it for good. You don't really boast about it. That's
That's right.
always good.
I don't glorify the violence. You know what I mean? Like the violence part of it, it is a big part of it because like they need to know how bad it is, right? So that's why I
Yeah.
speak on it. But it's not like something that I want to glorify. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, Eddie, if it's cool with you, I'm going to wrap it up, but I want to ask you one more question before I wrap it up.
Sure.
So, what's your message to the kids that may come across this?
Oh, really?
Or the parents that have kids,
Okay. Uh,
because let me go into
Pay
this real
attention to
quick.
your kids. Spend time with your kids.
Yeah.
Show your kids you love them. You know, get
Yeah.
involved. Involved in stuff they like to do. You know, be there for them.
Yeah, man,
Fathers too. You know, not just the mother and
for sure.
kids. Man, try to just do something like that. Something good, not jumping off the porch and joining gangs. You know what I mean? I'm talking about
Yeah,
and doing good things, finish school, and if you know pick up a hobby, a sport, or maybe try to do something. There's lots of stuff nowadays on social media that you can easily do and not have to do crime. You know, lots of
yeah,
lots of opportunity out there that we didn't have growing up. So take advantage of the new style of living.
for sure. Yeah, that's one thing I really am doing this for is because since I had my son, I got a 1 year old. I know that if nothing changes, nothing changes. If I live the way, you know what I mean, how I was brought up, that cycle's just going to keep going and keep going. And I hope all this brings awareness to it. You know what I mean? We can show our kids some love, and we
And
can all change a
also,
little
what
bit.
keeps me going too, a big thing is too, I got a huge plan for 2025 that I'm looking forward to, that I've been looking forward to for a long time. Well, for quite a
Okay.
while now. And yeah, you'll see.
Okay, bet. All right, man. Eddie, hey, man, I appreciate you. Anybody that's not subbed to Eddie over there at Canadian Jail War Stories, please do that. Fire content. He's a really good dude. Hey, man, big shout out to you, man. Thank
Thank
you
you,
for
brother. I
doing this with
appreciate
me.
it.
Yes,
Appreciate you
sir.
coming
Y'all
on
have a
and
good night.
interviewing me. I really
For
do.
sure, bro. Y'all have a
Take care,
good night.
everybody. Take care in the chat. I love all y'all. Thanks for showing up for the live.